Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Build Your Copywriting Business podcast. Hey there, Kate.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Okay, now today we're going to talk about mindset, but we're going to talk about it in a way that we haven't talked about it before. You may know that we have talked about overcoming imposter syndrome, definitely very important to mindset. And it's a great episode. We'll put the link in the show notes. And we've talked about, overcoming scarcity mindset and all of those kinds of things that all of us, frankly, face on a daily basis. But there's one that we have not tackled yet, and it's a very, very important one, and that is the consumer, or kind of the employee mindset versus the business owner mindset. And I think one of the things that makes this particularly challenging is that you have probably spent, and rightly so, the vast majority of your life in that employee consumer mindset. We'll just pick one. We'll say employee from now on. In that mindset, and probably also to all of the people around you are in that mindset. And now you need to make a change as you start moving into building up your copywriting business. So that employee mindset is someone who has a cap on their income, right? They are only ever going to make so much at whatever their job is. Maybe they get a bonus. Great. They're probably not in charge of whether or not they get that bonus, but there's a cap to their income, which means that their decisions are often based on having a limit to their income. And when things get when they want something, they have to save up for it, or additionally, sometimes we'll go into debt for it. They want to go on a vacation. There are certainly some people that save up for it, and some people that put it on a credit card. Purchases, they make purchases, and when things get that challenging in the economy, they think in terms of saving, because that's really the only financial lever that they have to pull, because they can't affect the amount that they can earn. All that they can affect is how much they spend, and of course then how much they save, which is different. Which again, and listening to this, you're probably thinking, yeah, okay, that makes sense. And that's how most of us have lived our lives for a lot of our careers. But that's very different from the business owner's mindset.
Yeah. And I think the word that you used that I think is most maybe helpful for people to hone in on is purchases. Consumers typically, yes, can you invest in the stock market? Sure. But typically when you're a consumer, you are making a purchase. You're buying groceries. You are, which we all know groceries are very expensive right now, as everyone says. Gasoline for your car. You're making, even if you buy a car, that is a purchase. It's depreciating as soon as it gets off the lot. You are making a purchase of clothing, whatever it is. I was just telling Nicki about a bed I was weighing a purchase of that was ridiculously expensive. But you're weighing these purchases of, are they worth it to me? Should I buy, for me, should I buy this $1,200 bed frame, or should I buy this $60 Amazon bed frame? What's the difference? Either way, it's not an investment. So as a business owner, when you are making, I don't want to use the word purchases, when you are spending money as a business owner, there are many opportunities to make investments in your business. And so what's the difference? The difference is an investment in your business. So for example, I'm going to use the CCA. For CCA students, Comprehensive Copywriting Academy students, you purchase the training. The purchase that you're making of the CCA is really an investment in your career, because that investment has the power to pay for itself many, many, many times over. And if you've listened to any of the student stories on the podcast, most people pay off the cost of the CCA with their first client or first project. And so that's really, I feel like, the key difference between employee mindset, business owner mindset is, okay, when I'm spending my money as a consumer, I'm making these purchases. I'm buying things that aren't actually going to give me anything back. They might bring me joy. They might, I might have fun with them. I might use them, and it might be valuable to me in some way. But as a business owner, the things I'm spending my money on have the power, if I'm making the right investments, have the power to pay for themselves many, many times over. So that could be training. It could be we don't recommend buying software until it's going to pay for itself, or you're going to save hours of your time. So if you value your time at $60 an hour, $70 an hour, can this software give you back some of those hours so that it's paying for itself? And if the software costs $20 a month, then yeah, and you get 5 hours of your time back, that's a worthwhile investment.
I think we particularly want to discuss it. Okay, all right, that sounds, I make investments. That's fine. I make investments in my business. But where this can become especially tricky
Yeah.
is when there are weird economic times. I think that's especially where you see a big split between that consumer mindset and the business owner mindset. Because, like I said, the consumer, the employee, has a cap on how much they earn. So the only lever that they can pull is saving. The only thing that they do is they spend less. Whereas the business owner, there is effectively no cap on how much you can earn. Yes, if you are a copywriter, there's only so many hours that you can work, but you can also increase your rates. You can do different types of work if you want to. You can outsource work. You could create courses. There's all kinds of things that you can do. There's kind of the potential is huge. Let's at least put it that way. There's a huge potential. So when you are in a more challenging financial time for a business owner, that's actually not the time to scale back on activities, and even potentially not the time to scale back on spending. Whereas when the economy gets a little uncertain, the average consumer kind of goes, "Oh, we're not going to do anything, and I'm going to pull the blankets over my head and just wait it out." The business owner does not have the luxury to give in to that fear. You have to keep taking action in order to keep your business going. And sometimes you have to explore different kinds of action to take. And you may look at, okay, are there additional investments that I want to make me more marketable, to increase my skills? Our CCA Next Level students joined Next Level to learn how to outsource their services, to learn how to create courses, and of course, just in general, how to be more effective in their business and command higher rates and land more clients faster, and all that kind of thing. But and I'm not at all saying that is the one investment that everybody has to use, but I am using that as an example. But you may be in a place where, as the economy starts to get weird, and all of your friends and family are getting nervous and scared, and it's very easy to feel affected by that, you have to pull yourself out of that and put on that CEO hat and think, okay, as the business owner, what is the best use of my time and my money? And of your time, it is very likely to continue to do the things that you've been doing, but to do more of them if they are effective, if they are direct lines to
revenue.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And maybe cut off scale back on the things that are dotted lines to revenue. Maybe posting on social, that kind of thing. Okay, maybe you do less of that and really dig into pitching to make sure that you are absolutely booked out. And the same thing when it comes to your spending. This might be the time, or that might be the time, to invest in something to make yourself more marketable, to improve your skills, to increase your knowledge. Obviously, you want to be very strategic about how you spend that money and make sure that you're spending it on something reputable and something that is going to truly pay for itself. Otherwise, it's not an investment. It is just a purchase. And quite frankly, too, a course can be just a purchase if you don't take action on it. You have to take action on it. But that is really the moment in which you have to lean into being a business owner versus being your average consumer.
Yeah, and it might help. I would recommend changing your environment when you're trying to think of yourself as the business owner. So if you have some sort of home office space where you do your work, to do this thinking about your business at that space. So if you're at the kitchen table and, you're looking at your grocery list for the day, it could be, you might be you're in a different environment, you're in a different mindset, and you might still have that consumer mindset. That's not necessarily going to go anywhere. And so if you're feeling like, oh, Yeah, we don't know what's happening with the economy. Groceries are expensive. Like I do want to rein in my savings. So maybe you're doing that in your consumer life, your what purchases you're making. You're being a little more savvy with where you're spending your money as a consumer. But then when you go to your office space and you're thinking about, okay, what do I need to do for my business? You're switching gears and not saying, okay, I'm not going to spend anything. I'm not, tightening the belt and we're just going to save. It's okay. Are there any investments I can make right now that would help scale my business faster or make my life easier or give me time back in my day so that I can take on more clients, so that I can do more projects, so that I have more space, bandwidth, et cetera, to make more money.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all about numbers. I know we love numbers. There are lots of episodes we've done about numbers. We'll link to some about, what financial metrics you should go over each and every year as a copywriter. And CCA students, you have the recording of the Right Start from this past year's Right Start. Definitely check that out, and the workbook that goes along with it, because you will dig into your numbers. And I know we're writers, we don't love doing the numbers stuff, but I promise you, it's a lot easier to look at them and set yourself time each month to just look at what's coming in, what's happening, what's going on, how many clients have you got, how many invoices are expected to come your way or have been paid. Looking at all of that and seeing, okay, and tracking your time too. That goes with numbers too. It's not all financial. It's your time as well. How much time are you spending on invoicing clients? I know that's the bane of my existence. Is there something like a Dubsado that you can use that just makes invoicing your clients that much easier? And again, how much does it cost per month? How much is your hourly rate? And even if you're not charging hourly rate, you're doing project rates, that's fine. But you want to have a sense of your hourly rate, because your time is valuable. Your time is money, literally, as the business owner. So if you're wasting, I'm going to say wasting, even though, yes, you have to invoice, but if you are wasting 2 hours a month doing admin work for invoicing, and you can pay a Dubsado $20 a month or whatever it is, that might not be the price. Don't quote me. Guaranteed, any copywriter listening to this, your rate is more than $20 an hour. So yes, that giving that 2 hours back, what does that 2 hours mean? That 2 hours means if your rate is $50, $60, $70 an hour and you get 2 hours, that's $140 worth of client work you can now do that you can have incoming. Or you take that 2 hours and you have yourself a vacation every Friday to you cut out early. Whatever your choice is, but it's all numbers. It's the time, your energy, your how much you want to work, how much you don't want to work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and you talked about, taking yourself into a different physical space to help get yourself into that mind space. And I think that's brilliant. You also have to be careful about who you're spending your time with and what you're sharing with. And now I realize that, like, well, I'm married to this person. I'm not going to walk out. But then maybe be careful about what kinds of things you're talking about, because the news is very important. I'm still very big on journalism, but especially TV news. And especially if you watch it for more than like a half hour, it's designed to freak the average consumer out and to get them worried. And if you are watching TV news and you're listening to, marketplace podcasts and you're reading the newspaper, or you're doing newspaper, it's adorable. But if you're consuming all of this kind of thing, it's designed to get you agitated. And that agitation is for the average consumer. That agitation is for the average employee. And you need to filter that for yourself. But then, like I was saying, if the people around you are employees, are consumers, and they are freaked out, it's not a good environment for you to be in. And again, maybe you can't, leave your house, but maybe you don't talk about what's going on in the economy. Or maybe you don't, if your mom is calling you up and saying, "Oh my God, I'm so worried about your business because did you hear what they said on the news last night?" And that was a kind of a patronizing tone for moms.
We love you,
I
moms.
did not mean that. Yes, I apologize. What I meant was that frenetic, frenzied tone that anybody can get. And that just might not be a good a good conversation for you to be a part of. It's kind of the same for our CCA students. We absolutely know that we have some students who said, when I got started, my spouse said, "Oh, is this oh, is this course a scam?" Or, "Oh, is this course," and then later they were able to say, "Hey, look at how much money I earned. Guess what? This wasn't a scam." But they had to kind of say, "All right, I respect that question. I respect your concern. Thank you for that concern. I'm going to do this anyway." And with your business, making business decisions, you often have to do the same thing. If your partner or if your parent or your best friend is seeing stuff on the news about how terrible the economy is and how everybody needs to be worried and there's going to be a recession, but there isn't, and then there is, and then there isn't. They may be looking at things in a very different way than you are. And if you want to share that you're so excited about investing in a course, or you're so excited about bringing on a virtual assistant, you're so excited, that you may not be able to have that conversation with them in a productive way.
Well, and remember too, I think that it's so important to remember that the news and these headlines and all of it it makes us feel a certain way, but it's not always our reality that we're living. Again, which is why looking at your numbers is so, so important. I think about 2020. We can link to this episode. I broke down all of my financial information year over year for several years. 2020, when 2020 started, I, like everyone, was just like, oh, pandemic, work's going to dry up. I had a lot of people in my network who did lose jobs, and it was a hard time for many, many people. I'm very, very fortunate. I'm very grateful. And I don't say this to toot my own horn in any way, but 2020 was one of my best financial years as a copywriter.
Mm-hmm.
And if I had listened to what was going on in the news and just went on that feeling and got scared or, whatever, stopped doing what I was doing, maybe it would have been a different year. But instead I buckled down, folk, okay, here's I block out the noise. Here's what I know is happening. Here's my clients. I'm going to continue doing the things that I have control over. We don't have control over what people are saying in the news, what's actually happening in the economy. The economy is doing actually just fine. I think if everyone's like, ooh, is it, recession, this, that, and the other thing.
No, objectively,
it's doing
just fine. Yeah.
The stock market's doing great. My stocks are doing great. My retirement, great. But the point is, it doesn't matter though, whether it's good, bad, or ugly you don't have control over it.
Mm-hmm.
What you do have control over is, who are you pitching? What are you following? Are you following up with your existing clients to repitch them ideas? Are you delivering your best work? Are you looking for ways that you can invest in your business to scale further? To say, okay, I've hit my peak. My hours are maximized. Do I bring on a VA? Do I hire a junior copywriter? Do I hire a senior copywriter so that I don't have to review their work? And I maybe pay them out a bit more, and maybe I raise my rates of my projects so I can, make a little bit of money off the top of that. Whatever it is, that's what you have control over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the rest is it's just headlines, it's noise. And to Nikki's point of, the conversations and who you have them with, people care about us. And so they might be worried and they might project that fear onto us of like, oh, you're going to hire someone in your business. Like, this doesn't seem like the right time to do that. But they don't know your numbers. They don't know what's going on in your business, and they don't understand where you're coming from. And so they're saying it because it's coming from a good place, but that doesn't mean if they're not a business owner, then they're not going to understand that. So CCA students, post things in the group. You have a whole group of us in coaching calls. We'll talk through it. And that's why it's so important to have that support group of people who get what it is that you do. Yeah. So definitely use it and take advantage of it.
Yeah. Colleagues. And also,
yes,
people who've been there before. Certainly with the pandemic, none of us had lived through that before. So we didn't know how it was going to turn out. But what I can tell you is that the pandemic ended up being very similar to other economic stressors. And historically, freelancers do incredibly well when the economy is topsy-turvy. Anywhere from bad to topsy-turvy. And we're fine when the economy's great, but we do especially well when the economy is a little bit off the wall. So going into, and I was giving that message to our students as we were going through 2020, is that the yes, the rest of the world, and again, we do not want to discount the fact that a lot of people struggled, and that is, and we are very, very sorry that they experienced that. But for our freelancers, I can tell you that because I had been through other economic challenges in my career and had seen what actually happens for freelancers, I knew that there was actually a very good chance that the pandemic economic situation was actually going to be beneficial for freelancers. And I don't want to say I told you so, but I did,
But
my
you did.
friends, tell you so. And that will be the case. And there's no reason that it wouldn't be the case for any future, because there will be future recessions. There absolutely will be. And the challenge in those times is to not give in to all the other people who are going, oh no, it's going to be bad. Maybe you have to try to get a job. No, that would be the absolute wrong thing to do in that scenario. In a time when, yes, people are getting nervous, and sure, when people are nervous, they want to reach out for things that feel safe. But as we saw in the pandemic, and you often see in recessions as well, the things that are quote unquote safe are become topsy turvy. It's a safe job. If you can be
No job
laid
is
off
safe.
at any moment, you are
Yeah.
not safe. Exactly. Whereas if you are in control of your income, if you are in control of the work opportunities, if you are in control of your rates and who you work for, guess what? You are safest. And especially now I think we could say in pandemics, in recessions, in times when the economy is weird, you are in control and the opportunities are plentiful, even more so than when the economy is more stable. So if you listen to the average consumer advice, to the average employee saying, oh my gosh, it's going to get scary, maybe you should get a job, you would have made a bad financial decision to get a job versus leaning into your business and doing the things that you know will earn you income and potentially grow your business even more. Do the things that will earn you income, potentially make investments that will again, as we've been saying, will improve improve many, many times over. So it's not easy, especially when the people around you are getting emotional about things and they're worried about it. It is not easy, believe us. Kate and I have both had that experience, and it's all of the voices around us are from people who love us very much and want the best for us, and that's very likely the case for you as well. However, you have to know that your work experience now, your work life is different than theirs is. And like Kate was saying, lean into your community. CCA students, lean into the CCA community. Ask questions in the group. Share what's going on with you. Ask questions on the coaching calls. You know that I will be in the group and sharing videos when people are starting to get nervous. I will share my experience and let you know what's going on and all of that kind of thing, and share my guidance. But just make sure that you are listening to and thinking like the business owner that you are and that you want to be, instead of the consumer that you used to be. It's not easy, but it is crucial, and it will have such a positive impact on you and on your business. So maybe you want to go back and listen to again, because it takes a little bit to wrap your mind around, and actually maybe you want to hit save on this one. Hit subscribe too if you're not already subscribed, but hit save on this one so you can come back and listen to it maybe when the voices around you are less than, I don't even want to say less than supportive, but maybe a little bit more consumer oriented, a little bit more employee oriented, and you need to have your CEO hat on. So hit save and come back to it. But at the very least, spend a little bit of time to think, where in your life are you thinking like a consumer or an employee? And where in your life are you thinking like a business owner? Okay. So with that, we will catch you guys in the next episode. Bye, everybody. Like what you heard? Hit subscribe so you never miss a video. And if you're ready to take the first step toward becoming a copywriter yourself, sign up for a free video training right here.